Hello, D. I'm sitting up here mad. No, I'm mad.
Are you mad at YouTube?
Yes,
Why are you mad at YouTube?
because this is the intro is an original.
It is.
I made that beat. I sat down and made that beat. It's an original. I feel like what's his name? What's the guy name? I am the originator. There is no duplicator.
That's funny.
Yeah. How you doing? You are
I'm
you
good.
you getting ready for retirement? Are you gonna drive around in your Volvo?
No, no,
You're not pulling up to the cemetery?
no, no.
Just
Not,
check.
I'm not washing up at the cemetery.
You're not watching your lady jiggly bits at the cemetery.
Not at the cemetery. No. I would be co-living. I would be in line somewhere trying to figure out where I'm going to go. Like I told you earlier, I was up. She was like, she had a cat, and she was like, "Oh, you get to live back with me," and I'm like, "You can stay with the cat. This cat had somewhere to go, but you didn't have a place to go." I have more questions.
It might have been a free animal shelter.
Not for no cat. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not for kitty litter. No, ma'am. That was hard to digest.
That's where we're
That
at
was
in
really
life,
hard to
D.
digest.
That's where we're at. Are we in my this our second week? Is this the second week of the year?
Yeah.
Second week going into the third week of the year,
Mm-hmm. It is.
right? Did you accomplish everything to start the year off?
Hey, you know what? I read something. I'm on my path, and I was actually reading something, and it made so much sense to me. And the person basically said that we should mimic nature when it comes to renewing things in our lives, and
Mm-hmm.
that it is the dead of winter. You trying to you trying to start something new, and nothing can grow. That's why a lot of people who have New Year's resolutions, they really fall off and they restart in the spring. And they were saying, if you want to start something new, that's when spring, has new growth and things like that. Wait until the spring. So I do have goals as far as getting a lot of things that have been in the backlog,
Mm-hmm.
for us as a community, and things personally, that I'm working on, and professionally. So yeah, I'm on my back.
Okay.
How about you?
Semi. I mean, I'm studying,
You
working,
have been.
trying to get things together with all the stuff that I want to do for myself,
Hmm.
and things I want to do for the fund, and then things I want to do for getting money for 50/50 Geek, then
Hmm.
things for Women in Linux, which I hated that meeting got canceled yesterday.
Oh my gosh! And I had another meeting like that. That was just like, oh well, Monday's a holiday, so I'm I'm
I forgot
canceling
Monday
that.
was a holiday.
And I was just like, so you ain't asked me to reschedule or anything like that. But I was just like, you know what? That's giving me red flags. Like, I'm not about to be playing with you. I'm not playing with you today. Like, I can't. I'm gonna let all that stuff fall by the wayside, because if it was for me, it'd be for me. But I don't have the patience for
Yo,
it. I'm sorry, Z's and some other people. Like, I just don't have the patience, and I don't. I don't.
well, since we're there, uh, we are going to do. We probably since we already there talking about it with
What?
plans and stuff.
Patience?
No, just plans
Oh,
in general.
plans.
Well, I'll start the show backwards. And
Okay.
I was going to start the show another way with government contractor, but we'll start backwards. And we'll start backwards with I've been trying to pull stuff from our Slack channel
Mm-hmm.
into the
I've been
show.
putting some jobs in the Slack channel too.
Yeah, so I've been trying to pull stuff from my Slack channel to highlight, but also I have other articles naturally to highlight. So let's get started with a new year, new skills, and how to reach your cloud career destination.
Well,
Now,
that's great. Are you going to share your screen with us?
oh yeah, I forgot about that. We have with this one, this comes from the standpoint of Google. This is their vision, but
Mm-hmm.
I still want to. I still think it's relevant. I still think it's relevant. Right? So let me blow that up some. So this is just from Google's perspective. Um, Automation with Terraform and Ansible, pick a cloud, any cloud, Google, GCP, AWS, Azure. Something in security, start with Security Plus, then work your way up. And then, of course, Linux. And then anything with Kubernetes, OpenShift, serverless, any of that nature, anything that falls under those microservices, understanding how to scale them,
Right.
and observability if you want to go down the SRE route. Or pick a programming language, Python, Rust, Go, or be your three, and then go from there. All right. So, so the game plan has never changed. The only thing that's changed is the year.
All right.
The only thing that has changed is salaries. Uh,
Right.
and I've been seeing a big flux in salaries now. We were last year in towards the end of the year they were kind of low, but now I'm seeing a big flux. What's going on, NC Worker? How you doing? All right. So this article came out January 5th of 2023. It is already posted in our Slack group, so you can look this up. And it just talks about cloud is a great place to grow your career in 2023. Now, with that being said, there's so many different cloud certs,
Yes.
so many different cloud paths to go down.
Right.
And we're going to get into a little conversation about those, but I also want to line that up with what does that look like from a federal, state, and local avenue, and what does that look like long term skill wise. Anybody who's been on our first show, drop the name of the show in the chat. I just want to know if you know the name of the show.
Is it
The
just
name of
showing
the
up?
show is not Women in Linux.
It is not.
That is not the
Not women
name
in
of the
Linux.
show.
We are women in Linux.
Yeah, that is not the name of the show. So drop the name of the first show in the chat. And then we're gonna talk about this career path. What I'm seeing. I need to write. In fact, I need to finish writing the speech for the conference. And are you gonna be? You're not. I don't know. We have to talk about it offline to see if you're able to come, and then we dip out going to the cold weather. So we'll see. Because I speak on that 8th at 4, the day before.
The 8th of February.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're coming here to speak, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I already live here, and I don't have a plane ticket, so I've been kind of waiting for you to uh,
Manifest all of that.
make your reservation so I can see what are we doing. Because I know
Yeah.
we had a conversation about it, but we really hadn't said anything in stone. So
Yeah. So it's on the 8th. Yeah. So we got to get that together. Got to get next week together. Doing that today. Such a
yeah, but
big
I'm already here, so I'm
deal.
here.
Dion,
I'm here.
Dion,
I'm here.
we still got to drive and get somewhere to live when we get there. Unless you
But
want to
I'm
live in
here for you.
Florida.
I'm here. What I'm saying is I'm here for you. I'm here. Like more ways than one. Like I'm a
I ain't
true
gonna, you know what? I ain't gonna drop you
oak,
down like I normally do.
the oak tree planted here. I'm at base, the control tower.
Anyway, let's get back to it. You ain't gonna bother. You ain't gonna get my pressure up.
But I'm here.
That's what you're not gonna do.
But I am.
Second sentence: opportunity abounds with cloud roles, offering strong salaries and scope for growth as a constantly evolving field. Some positions do not require a technical background, like project management, product owners, and business analysts. For others, like solutions architects, developers, and administrators, coding and technical expertise are a must. Either way, cloud knowledge and experience are required to land that dream job. But where do you start, and how do you keep up with the fast pace of the ever changing cloud technology? Check out tips below, and let's get started. Well, for one, what are your skill sets? Right. Let's start there first. What are your
You
skill
know,
sets?
how do you test those though? That should be a question. Like how do you test your skill set?
Oh, well, you test your skill sets with places like Leak Code is one, right? So you can go to Leak Code if you're a programmer.
Mm,
Um, that's one spot for online programming. Another way to test your skills. There's a couple of people out here that we put it in because there's a variety of them. Test your cloud skills. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Uh, let's go here. So, a cloud guru has an assessment. It looks like iMocha. They have choose from 67 plus cloud skill test. The other one is that a lot of people like to use. Let me get the name. It's on the top. Oh God, what's the name of them? Oh God, not exorcism. It's another one that they use that a lot of people use to test your skills. Um, test tech skills is it's a website that a lot of them use it. I can't remember what the name of it is right now. Oh, it escapes me. I can't believe it. I've had to use it a couple of times. It'll come back to me. But another one that you can use is uh, on the actual um, vendors themselves. So like AWS,
mm,
Solution Architect, they have what they call practice exams. So they got a practice exam. Look, they got little small snippets that you could take. Here's an associate practice exam that you can get for free. Just going through and find like practice exams. Meetups is another place to meet up with other people to see if they may have like a cohort study group that they doing.
mhm.
That's another place. And the other one is you. Testing yourself, right?
Right.
Like, how long does it take you to code and create an API and build a serverless environment and have it reporting in DNS and the ands, right? How long
Right.
does it take you to do that? And then what didn't you know that you had to go look up and practice that? Like there's certain things I didn't know about using serverless RDS in Amazon and to look it up and how I can set that up and how can I use Kubernetes to use the database and how can I uh, create my container and deploy it and do testing on my container. Like certain nuances that I didn't know. I know it's available but certain things have changed. So I was like, okay, how do I do that and get that going? So those are the things that I do. And I think you have to do. I think you should take, if you're like in study mode and you're like and you're comfortable with your job, but you're like, I'm not really doing anything new. I think it behooves you to test yourself. Just get it, just get in there and be like, oh, how could I make this better? How can I
Mhm.
do what we got deployed? How could I tweak it and make it better
Right.
in practice? What are your thoughts?
You know, for me, even though I work in a technical capacity every day, like some things I just don't touch, and so I'm like, okay, well, how do you, besides what you say, get your hands on the technology within your job, or ask for other opportunities, and maybe your team is not using that particular technology, and or you're looking for a new um, opportunity in that space. For me, when I went into this particular position that I'm in now, I let them know, hey, in theory, I know, but this is a great opportunity for me to dig in.
Mhm.
I want to test those things out. And, a good thing is always to be in learning mode. But
Mhm.
sometimes, like, I have project management skills, and there's flow charts and, Gantt charts and all these formulas and theories and stuff. But, at the end of the day, can you look all that stuff up? Absolutely. Is it going to be like at the top of your brain all the time? No. So it's just like, are there opportunities to flex those chops?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, you're just like, given the limited time that I have in the day, like, what's the best way to do that? What's the best
Mhm.
way to do that? Like, you know,
Yep.
like Friday, yesterday, well, yesterday was Friday, and um, we're going to be using Jira in house. And but at my job, they have Jira training. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. Instead of going directly to Jira.com, I'm going to use my in-house learning portal at work to do the Jira training. That way I have, I'm getting credits for taking this education, taking this class and passing this class, and I'm learning for other things as well.
Mhm.
So I guess that's my thought. Like, if you
Mhm.
have an opportunity to use um, the training at work to do the work, make sure you maximize that. Make sure you
Mhm.
maximize that. Ask the training department, how do you get your hands on stuff? Because I was looking for labs. Like, okay, where are the labs at? Do we have labs? Can you recommend any labs? Got to ask those questions.
And another good thing to do is when you ask the question about do they have labs, create your own labs and go back to them like, well, you basically a how-to guide, right?
Right.
Like ask yourself a question, then step through that with your screenshots and create your own, pretty much your own lab or how-to guide to do that,
Right.
right?
And then for me, um, I noticed with the training, like, for our training, there's in-house training, and then there's vendor provided training. Vendor provided training, as far as Google, you're not going to go into our company educational portal, learning portal, to go and do it. You're going to log into the vendor, Google, for instance. But our in-house training, what it does is it takes all these little modules and pieces them together to create a course. So
Mm.
it's pulling from all these different things. And so a course, a chapter or something, or I'm clicking on, I might have seen it in another infrastructure model or
Yeah,
something.
most of them do that.
Yeah, but what I've noticed that really bugs me is that after you take this module and you do the assessment, how the assessment has nothing to do with what you've just sat and learned. And so you're just like, I know, I'm a note taker and I'm a screenshotter. And so I'll have two screens up and I'm just like, We didn't discuss this, and there's no supplemental reading for that.
Mm,
That bothers me, and
mm,
that's something I'll probably, just you know do a little support something like this doesn't make any sense. But also, um, my company is based in India. Like, what are y'all doing something that we don't know? Because it's confusing.
It may not be doing that. It's just made the module may be off, and the
Oh,
test
and I'm
may
just
be off.
like, where are you getting these questions from? Like,
Yeah, the test may be off.
what do you deem the test? Because what I just
Yeah,
learned is not in the
yeah.
test.
Sometimes the test is off. Sometimes the people who put the test together with the information put the wrong test with the wrong information. So it may not be nothing that they're doing. It's just somebody who put it together put the
Right.
wrong
And
information together.
then I've also noticed that you can, like, the way the test is worded, you can tell it's not a native English speaker. Like,
Hmm.
with some of the stuff like this doesn't make any sense. And there's a lot of you may learn something like
Hmm.
risk management, or
Hmm.
something, and they'll give you a situational question, but it's just like, this situation doesn't make sense based on what I've learned. Like, this this particular question that you're asking me needed more context in the training.
Mm. Could
So
be.
I mean, hey, you know,
Uh, so another thing they stated here: think creatively about your transferable skills and opportunities. And they give some scenarios like you already work in IT, but on legacy systems or the data center. Forrest Brezzo, head of content marketing at Google Cloud, talks about that in a video. Your sales experience to become a sales engineer or communications experience to become a developer advocate. Stephanie Wong talks about that. You don't have a college degree that is included in the job requirements. I've talked about that in videos as well too. Your company has a cloud segment, but your focus is in another area. Go talk to people. Access your colleagues who do want who do what you want to do, get their advice. Define where you need to fill in the gaps, right? Understand where you need to fill in the gaps, right? So it says here code is non negotiable. Understand Linux, understand the file system, the commands, fundamentals of containerization, networking. Make sure you understand the cloud itself and familiar with open source tools. Boost your targeted hands-on skills. Get into the labs. Spend time with it. Spend time preparing and studying for that. And they have a list of no-cost labs and courses. This is strictly just for GCP. You can go look this up for AWS and Azure and get the same thing. Build hands-on projects. Build a API or web application. Develop code for the application. Pick the infrastructure to deploy that application in the cloud. Choose your storage option and a database and interact. Get valuable cloud knowledge for non-technical roles. Right. Right here, cloud digital leadership. Digital leader learning path, and then the cloud digital leader learning certification. Commit to learning in the new year. A couple of other resources we have are the cloud Google Cloud in Innovators Program, which will help you grow on the cloud and connect you with other community members. There's no cost to join, and it will give you access build your skills and future cloud, right? And they go on to list a little more things, but I just wanted to bring this up because it's posted in Slack. But you could take the same thing that they're talking about with GCP and apply it to any other cloud or any other thing that you decide that you want to learn and get into. I hope that made sense for you all.
it does.
Did you want this link? Did you want to post this link?
Cool.
All right, let me get that. All right, so I went and got your thing about the tech setup for the overemployed. for the mouse jiggler, a KVM so you can hop in between screens and so forth.
I
Maybe you
need
got a set of screens and you want to go to different companies you are
some of my
contracting with.
colleagues need mouse
Huh?
jiggers.
Huh?
Some of my colleagues need mouse jiggers.
Oh, okay. And then here's the combo for the Logitech mouse and keyboard combo Bluetooth. They got the monitors here, built-in KVM, portable audio mixer. Uh, get the KVM switch for your voice. Vertical laptop holder.
I need one
Uh,
of those.
huh?
I need one of those. I just stack mine like vertically up against
Yeah,
the
and then
wall.
just the next ones that are talking about KVMs, but I did want to bring that up. So we discussed that. We discussed this, and then let's
We
talk
got a
about
couple here, but they're kind of huge.
huh?
We got KV. We got some switches here, right?
Yeah, I got KVMs.
Yeah, but they're
They're
huge.
KVMs for
That one
rack
is
services.
smaller. That's on that link, right?
Yes, or you can take the KVM and plug up the KVM and mount it under your desk or leave it on to the side. Just get the cords long enough. All right. All right. So six. This Natasha posted this. Not Natasha Stevens. Another Natasha. Six-figure salary negotiation. I have not listened to it. I do not know what it says. We're gonna listen to it together. In fact, I need to switch here because we don't have sound on this one. And let me get that. And we'll listen to it together. And I'll tell you whether I agree or not. It'll be like a friendly review. All right. So let me pull this over.
So this is wonderful. Initially, I thought this question would have just fit for the talent
Uh-oh,
source and
wrong
recruiter,
one.
but knowing that
Hold
both of
on.
you have been in positions, Sherman and Cortez, y'all also been in
Let me go
positions
find
where
it
y'all either influence
again.
or directly were like saying the yes to hiring
There
or
we
bringing.
go. I got the wrong one. I pulled D over.
Huh?
I said I pulled you over. What? How did that just happen? I was just on the screen. All right, let me find it again. It is right here. And let me make sure my sound is up. And we're gonna back it up. And the sound is up on the video. And we're gonna turn it up. All right. Here we go. We're ready.
So this is wonderful. Initially, I thought this question would have just fit for the talent source and recruiter, but knowing that both of you have been in positions, Sherman and Cortez, y'all have also been in positions where y'all either influence or directly were like saying the yes to hiring or bringing this person on. Feel free to answer this as well. Salary negotiations. What are some suggestions for someone who is going through the interview process with a company, especially a person, maybe it's their first time, at least they haven't been working in this space yet, and they're intimidated or worried or fearful about salary negotiations? What are some tips that y'all have for that?
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. I'm gonna kick off my shoes because I done got comfortable. Okay, y'all, listen. I actually met with someone this week in just a kind of a salary negotiation conversation, so this is perfect. And she said to me, I don't care what the number is, I just want to get out of my current job. And I said, you are setting yourself up for the okie doke.
Boom.
Did we
Boom.
just have this conversation?
Boom.
We just had this conversation.
Boom. I say it
Setting
all the
yourself
time.
because it's desperation. Like,
I'm just
don't
trying
do
to
it to
move.
yourself.
I'm just trying to move. I'm trying to get to the next one.
I
And
just don't want to
whatever,
be here.
yeah, whatever they offer, I take it. Blah blah blah. But then you leave like 50,000, 75,000 on the table, a sign-on bonus, stock options,
Just sit
more
down for a
time
minute.
off.
Sit down for a minute.
Like you leave so much on the table, right?
Make your next move your best move.
Right? Know what the most power you gonna ever have in getting a job. I mean, it's the salary negotiation time. This is the most power you're gonna ever have, and you freely give it away. You freely give it away. You're like, oh no, I just want to work. Like, no, stop. That's how this. You want to know how we get behind? This is how.
This is how.
This is how. So when you go to work and you sit down at the table, and the guy next to you who doing the same job or maybe a tier lower than you is making more than you, and you like, well, this ain't fair. They shouldn't have did that. They should have hired me. No, did you negotiate? Well, no. Well, but why they just didn't give me? Because they ain't got to. They ain't got to. You didn't want puppy chow. You ain't want Purina. You ain't want organic fed. You ain't want that. So you get what you get. And the next question is, why would you leave it into somebody else's hand to make sure with the money that you want? Why would you
not
do
their
that?
responsibility.
Why would you
Their
do?
responsibility is to do their job.
Why would you do that? Why would you turn power over to somebody else? Right. So let's get back to it. Let's get in it.
I said, I don't care how bad a job is. If you keep saying that, you're going to keep accepting lower and lower and lower and lower than what you deserve. So anyone who's intimidated, whenever you're going into an interview, anyone who's intimidated by asking for a certain number, I would then ask you, do you know your worth? Because if you don't, then that is going to allow you to be intimidated by whether it's the company, whether it's the person who is making you the offer, whatever. So I always.
Well, after you ask, like, how do you negotiate when it's your first job and breaking in IT? You start talking to people. You talk to people. You talk to people that at the company. You talk to people who are in tech. There's no way in the world that right now that you can't look up levels FYI, Glassdoor, Dice, salary report, salary, just general salary. The U.S. Census Bureau even comes out with their stuff. Just have a general knowledge of what it is. And then if not, ask for a salary range. Say, hey, I'm not sure what salary range this job is supposed to come in. Can you let me know what the range you have? Some people will push back and say, well, what's your idea? What salary are you trying to target? Whatever you thinking in your head, put $25,000 on it. Because 9 times out of 10, you probably coming in low. You probably like, well, I was thinking like 100, and they're probably the salary range is probably 150 to 200. But you give away your power. You give away your power all the time. Let them tell you. Trust me, they know exactly what that range is. They know exactly how much they can offer. Don't play. They know.
But also this, and we repeat it over and over again. Just because this is your first job technically in tech does not negate your skill set. Like you might have got some new skills, but you've been working for a long time. I look at our demographics. We are ranging from late 20s to 50s. We already have job history. We already have skills that we're bringing to the table. We have experience. Why are we chucking that away? Why are we throwing out all of our experience instead of building on it and coming in our confident selves and say, I have all this experience, and now I'm taking this experience and I am pivoting, and selling yourself as you're pivoting to this new experience. And this is what I've done to prepare for that.
Yeah. And the other piece is like Glassdoor. Sometimes I think is $20,000 to $30,000 off, but at least give you a start. Dice, LinkedIn. I've done videos on salary tips and negotiations. Right, again, this is why I say take your job, put that job offer into a mind map, and then look at what you're able to negotiate. Have seen, like I said, I've seen people negotiate cars, houses, daycare, school tuition pay. I negotiated school tuition pay. I negotiated my master's being paid, my relocation being paid, my deposit being paid, my travel to the state, the gas, the whole nine. I negotiated that, and I just wouldn't not negotiate. Like, I don't know why you would not. It doesn't even make sense. So again, the ball is in your court. It is your power. So it's on you, and for you to do your due diligence of, well, who should I talk to? What are my options? What can I negotiate? What's on the table for negotiation? Ask the recruiter. Ask the recruiter what's on the table for negotiations, so I can make sure I come back with a counter. Can Most times you can't negotiate 401k. Some, depending on who it is, some people have, but most of the time, if they got a 3% match, that's for the entire company. It's not going to change because you want 4%, right? So it's usually a company thing. However, you can negotiate, your salary so that you can put more into your 401k, right? You can also negotiate whether or not you want, um, say, more sick days. I've seen people say, I got 3 sick days, I want one more, 2 more sick days or whatnot to total out for the 5 days. I have seen people negotiate their conference and their conference trips and the conferences paid for, down to the actual training, some training that they want to do, or they've negotiated that, for higher education, I want to go to grad school, or I want to go to this boot camp, or what have you. So it's very different for each one. But again, it depends on what you deem worthy for yourself and what you need at that time. Each 5 years from now, you may be like, I don't need salary negotiation. I need how to negotiate more money, not necessarily more money, but maybe more money as far as a sign-on bonus, not necessarily salary, right? Or profit sharing or something of that nature, right? So just different things.
And then how
People,
many times, Sam, have you went into a interview and for one role and they suggested a different role?
It depends on the company, but I've been in situations where they may offer a role, and then they were like, but because of the salary that we know you want to obtain, we're thinking that you'll be a better fit for this role because we can support it for that role. The salary we can support for that role, or they may be like, hey, we created a position for you, and now we can support that because we created, you'll be the first one, right?
Right,
So it
right.
depends, right? It depends on your skills, how you pitch yourself, how well versed you are on the subjects, how you can prove that as well too, how you can get in the room and break down that problem and come up with a solution, and be confident in it, and show that how they can improve and so forth, right? So it depends on, each one is different. So let's get back to it.
have a number in mind. You then ask for the pay band. Ask the person making you the offer, can we have a transparent conversation and what the pay structure of this particular role that I'm interviewing for is? If they can offer that information, they'll tell you. If they can't offer that information, they'll tell you. Either way, you don't want to feel like you're lowballing yourself, but you also want to make sure you're having a very honest conversation with the person making you the offer, because you don't want to feel like I'm not making the money that I should. So you also then have to consider, and Black folk, we're not taught this. So I didn't learn this until I got into tech 1 year ago. So we're not taught that there is a difference between base salary and total comp.
Yeah.
I don't know why y'all don't know that. I don't know why y'all don't know that. I know that. There's a difference between the base salary and total comp. People will come back to you and say, "Hey, my total comp is 250, but that 250 is a $50,000 sign-on bonus, and your base salary is 200. You're only gonna get paid that 50,000 depending on how they structure it. Maybe that first year or that first 2 years, depending on if they're gonna pay it out over 2 years or they're gonna pay it out in that first year in one big lump sum. And then the 200,000 is gonna get paid out. That's what you're gonna get paid for that whole year. That's your money for that year. Like that's what you're gonna get. But come that following year, you're not gonna get that $50,000 sign-on bonus. You're gonna get that 200 and hopefully a raise, a cost of living raise, whatever that looks like. That's gonna be your income. So when you hear these salaries, and I say this all the time, what is your base? What is your total comp? What does that look like? What are you trying to aim for? People try to come up with all kind of numbers. Hey, I make 320. What was it, 320 base or is that 320 total comp? What does that look like? Are you on a sales cycle? Like, do you get a bonus? Does your RSUs mature and you get some money back on that? Do you get stock options? Is it employee owned stock option? What does that look like? So it's different structures for different things. You got to ask questions. How does that work? People tell you they say, yeah, the company's going to get a bonus. Well, what's that bonus based on?
Is that bonus split up into 5 years?
Well, not only that, what is the bonus? What is the bonus based on? You say I'm gonna get a bonus. Is it guaranteed?
Is it performance based? Is
No.
it guaranteed?
No, is it just, it's not based on my performance, it's based on the performance of the company or the performance of the team or the performance of the product that we're selling or the performance of whatever it is. So I may not even have no hand in it to even get that 10% or that 20% or that 30% or whatever the case percentage that is. So it sounds good, but
But it's
have you been getting that for the last 5 years? Well, we got it 3 out of the 5. Well,
that's not desirable for me.
yeah, so that changes the thing. So you got to ask that question because then again, that puts you in a different tax bracket. What tax bracket is that when you don't get it, and what tax bracket is it when you do get it? What does that look like? So these things change, and those are questions that y'all got to ask. Right? These are questions you got to ask. But I don't know why I didn't know base salary versus total comp. Like I don't know why that was. I'm gonna be quiet.
I didn't know that until I got into big tech. So you always want to make sure you have a base salary number. And if the person making you the offer asks you, is that your base salary or is that your total comp? If the number is considered low, always say that is your base salary. Because you have to remember, you have to factor in your sign-up bonus and your stock, which is made up of your total comp. Benefits are not included in your total comp. So always have that information and that knowledge. So when you then go into your salary negotiation conversation, you won't be intimidated. Last thing I'll leave you with, and I'll let my other panelists go. If you made it to the salary negotiation part, that means they want you for the job. That means you are qualified and good enough for that job. So it is not only did you show up in your interviews, now it's time for you to show up to tell them the money you want to make.
Yeah.
If you decide to accept a certain amount that you know you don't want, you can't then go back once you started and say, can we renegotiate?
Exactly. I don't know how many times I had to tell you, start high and let them talk you off the ledge. And a lot of people are like, well, what if I talk myself out of a job? You should be interviewing for multiple jobs anyway, but that's neither here nor there, right? But again, let them tell you and dictate to you like what their range is, but have your number in head. So you know if you're going for an architect role, and we're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna bring this up too. Some of these architect roles range from 150 to 400,000, and that's dependent on the company. So you got to you got to ask yourself, well, where do you want to be? If you know you're at 150 now, don't go for the next job at 150 just because you want to get out of a job. You don't see it on screen, Dion.
Your hair is flat right here on the side. It's bothering me.
It's not flat. It's fine. So again, know what you're trying to achieve. And this is why I talk about looking at tech from a financial standpoint versus your salary standpoint. Know how much you want to put away, know how much you want to invest, know what you can do with what you're getting, and know what your cost of living is. So that way when you go in and you get these numbers that's you got 15 years of experience and they want to give you $120,000 and you're like, well, I can't do what I need to do on that. I need to go to another company, or I need to look at the skill sets that I have, or I need to look at my negotiating skills. Because some of you all be going for companies that you know that you ain't gonna get that 120 out of, because they just ain't got it in they just ain't got it in they bottom line. They just ain't got it. So you got to be careful with that. All right, let's get back to it.
A salary, because you have accepted something that they've offered. So you have to make sure that if you accept a salary, you know you're accepting a number, and you have to be okay with that.
That's good. That's good.
In addition to that, I think it's best to ask more questions than what you're giving information. It's perfectly fine to ask a sourcer or a recruiter, and really a sourcer at the top of funnel before you get past that business phone screen with the hiring manager. Based upon my years of experience, give them that quantitative number. Based upon me living within this market, what is the range for the base?
What is the interview process and what is the salary range? Don't make it more complicated than what it has to be. If the interview process is 5 interviews and they got to fly you out somewhere, or it's a panel interview on 3 of them, or it's a panel interview on 2 of them, or the last one is a panel, and what's the range? What's the salary range? All that is time. Time away from what you could be doing, time away from studying, time away from the job, time away from interviewing with other places. It's time. I don't care how you slice it. It's time. Time to study is all time. So you got to be asking, is this process going to be worth your time? Are you looking to move lateral? I will hope not. I hope you'll be looking to move up, not lateral. But just those things that you should be keeping in mind.
In addition to that, what is the target bonus? Is that eligible to be paid out at 200%? In addition to that, what is the equity range? Is there an equity refresh? There is nothing wrong with asking questions, because the more questions you ask them about your worth, it's going to tell you how they value where you are at this point in your career. And then you don't have to stick to this one conversation with this one company. Normally when we're interviewing, it's for several different companies at one time. You can utilize those numbers to negotiate in whichever direction you decide to go.
I won't go.
I have a quick question.
So we're gonna do tech sector versus public sector. We're gonna listen to what they say, and then I'm gonna give you my take on it, right? Because I've worked in both. It depends on what you're looking for. All right, let's go.
Private sector versus public sector. So to my understanding, there's kind of a little few, from a recruiting aspect, that private sector tends to frown upon a resume that has a lot of public sector experience, and vice versa. But I haven't necessarily, I feel like I can say I've experienced that, but I don't know, haven't really validated whether that's true. So I wanted to kind of get you guys' opinion on that from being private sector. Do you feel like seeing a lot of public sector is like, and vice versa?
Great question. I have not ran into working or hiring for one hiring team that was like a major deal breaker for. You?
No, I haven't.
I think I've had one experience where I brought on a BA that had, public sector experience, brought her over to private sector. She did extremely well. Right after that, we began to respect that public sector experience more after that. So you're right that there is bias there. I don't know where it came from or why it is the way it is. But we had to do some convincing internally to that hiring committee. Y'all probably know about that experience. Yeah, we had to really fight for her, to get her in. But she did a really great job at our organization, and because of her success, we went back to the well of, wow, okay, this can be successful. So there is probably a little bit of a glass ceiling there, maybe for that crossover, right? That just hasn't happened enough in our spaces, maybe. I don't know what you would say about that, but I think it is beginning to happen more and more.
I would actually challenge you to look at it in a different light. If you're in the public sector, you have a immense amount of knowledge to actually provide to a private sector that is trying to get government contracts, that needs to understand.
Boom. Boom. Another boom. I don't care what people say, right? I get this all the time. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to work for Amazon, and they're going to pay me all this. Amazon works with the government. Google works with the government. Azure works with the government. Oracle works with the government. CompTIA works with the government. Red Hat works with the government. Like, it never fails. They all got some type of underlying government contract that they do. It just never fails, right? So again, what I'm talking about is you could go work at these companies, right? You can also work at again, you can work on the public sector and go back to the private sector, and then you can do business development. But why? Because now you have an inside track on what type of contracts are coming out. What are they looking for? What type of skill sets are they looking for? Who are they looking for to work and do those skill sets? Oh, those contracts. Oh, let's come out. Oh, 2.3 billion, 10 billion, 5 billion, 400 million, 700 million. Just so many different angles and things, so many different nuances and ways that you can get in and out and be just fine, right? Yeah. So and the reason why they was hired at AWS, because AWS does a lot of government contracting, a lot with Gov Cloud, a lot. So again, you got to figure out where you want to be, how soft you want your bed to be, how firm you want it to be, or how hard you want it to be. You can do that. However, you need to do. This is the end line. You need to do. So let's finish up.
Clients, all of those things. So start going after those type of companies that need that, and your value will skyrocket because you'll have other candidates that don't have that experience competing for you at a job that you can run circles around. So I would start looking at it as a strength and start targeting the companies that need that experience.
All right. So with that being said, let's hop over here. I left this up. Close this one. So let's look at this. Let's talk about it. The FAA awards 15 prime contracts as part of the $2.3 billion systems engineering procurement. All right. The Federal Aviation Administration, who just went down this week, we saw that planes and across the United States was grounded, right? Has awarded 15 federal contractors as part of their landmark technical services support contract. The agency selected 5 large companies and 10 small companies to take on lead spots for the $2.3 billion procurement. The System Engineering and Technical Innovation, SETIS, indefinite quantity contract has base performance period of 36 months by 3-year option and 2-year option, so approximately about 5 years. And there's probably be some follow-on work with that as well too. According to the contract documents, the services obtained through the procurement will be used to support air traffic operations that just went down this week, and planned improvements to agency technology infrastructures. The five companies that got chosen were L3, LS Technologies, Noblic, Oasis Systems, and SAIC. The 15 companies awarded prime contracts are supported by multiple subcontractors. And in total, there was 275 prime and and subcontractors awarded taking part in this procurement. So 275 companies gonna eat up this 2.3 billion dollar contract. You don't want to be, you don't want to eat off this contract. You don't want none. You don't want none. You don't want nothing, D. You do. Okay. So that's all I'm saying. Y'all, again. All right, so Sectus is intended to provide the agency with a broad of range of research, service analysis, strategic planning, system engineering, technical, financial, and programmatic support services and other aviation-related support services according to the RFP, right? And I'm not going to continue to read all of this, but you get the gist. Next up, the FAA preliminary investigation traces NOTAM's outage to a damaged database file. The reason why things didn't work because there's a damage in the database file, right? An initial investigation into the outage that hit the FAA notice is to air mission system has found that the error may have been caused by a damaged database file. In a statement issued at 6:30 Eastern Time Wednesday, the agency said it was continuing a thorough review to determine the root cause of the notice to air missions system outage. At this time, there's no evidence of a cyber attack. The FAA is working diligently to further pinpoint the cause of this, and there should be a post mortem coming out about this as well too, right? So just giving you an idea of what happened. But then you just saw that $2.3 billion that's coming in, right? The backup system went into effect and the main system resumed before which problems reappeared according to the secretary comments, which were reported by the Washington Post, right? So you can go read about what happened with that one, right? So we took care of these two and we took care of this one. All right, so here, Fed Scoop. Let's back up. NASA targeting a launch of a $2 billion NCAPS contract vehicle for late February. $2 billion contract coming up for NASA. NASA, who don't know about NASA? Drop in the comments what you know about NASA. What do you know about NASA? I'm going to say you should know at least data and planets. What else do you know about NASA? Data and planets, and what else? I talk about it all the time. I'll put in the chat what you know. Let's go. All right. NASA plans to issue a RFP, request for proposals, for a nearly $2 billion contract to consolidate, standardize, centralize IT servers from across the agency at the end of February. The space agency issued a pre-solicitation notice on Friday declaring that it will open its NASA consolidated application and platform services contract vehicle for bids on February 28th, with an anticipated date offer due date on March the 31st of 2023. Right. NASA initially anticipated launching the RFP period late last year. However, in the notice on November the 14th, it said that the procurement was placed on hold until further notice. Now that the contract seems to be back on track, NASA said it would issue a draft RFP sometime on around January the 13th so that prospective bidders can provide questions, comments, and concerns with the agency during the virtual industry week. We need to have that discussion next week. Let's dedicate to virtual industry week and government contracting. Dion, let's do that. Or should we do a private one? Should we do that private?
I think it should be private.
All right. So NCAP. So that's just to give you an idea. That's Fed Scoop. That's $2 billion right there. Next up. The Patent Office is seeking penetration testing services. So anybody that is out there that's good with penetration testing, anyone that's out there that knows how to do penetration testing, maybe can partner with somebody, right? Penetration testing, the post office is looking for that. U.S. Patent and Trademark Office is looking for a partner to perform a red team penetration testing service to help bolster cyber defenses, right? So then when you see these things right here, if y'all got a small company, if you got an LSC, you got your capability statement, you got somebody to help you write your proposal and stuff like that, here you go. You don't have to sit on the sideline and wait for somebody to come find you. Go find the jobs. I'm bringing them to you. Here you go. Right. So they looking for somebody to do a red team penetration testing. Right. State Department established a special envoy focused on diplomacy and emerging tech. What does that mean? That means the Department of State said this week they began operations on a new office of special envoy for critical and emerging technology dedicated to the intersection of technology and diplomacy. The Secretary, Anthony Blinken, first introduced the concept of a new office in October of 2021 during a speech on his wider modernization agenda, asserting that the State Department must play a role in shaping the digital revolution that is happening around us and making sure that it serves our people, protects our interests, boosts our competitiveness, and upholds our value. Right? You're no longer competing here in the States, you're competing globally. If you don't think you're competing globally, you don't even know what the United States stands for. You like you don't know. Like to be in in tech in general, in jobs, in nursing, and it's a global thing. It's a global thing. Your skills in tech will take you global. Your skills in tech will get you $1 million in 5 to 10 years, if not earlier. Your skills in tech will get you into being that accredited investor. It depends on how you want to slice it, how you want to do it, what your focus is, what your time and input into that. The output it could be great, it could be bad, it could be really awesome, but it's what you put into it, right? It says the office will bring on and coordinate additional expertise around tech policy, diplomatic leadership, and strategic direction for the state to address emerging tech. We want the internet to remain as transformative force for learning, for connection, for economic growth, not a tool of repression. We want to shape the standards that govern how new technologies so they can ensure equality, protect the consumer health and safety, facilitate trade, respect people's rights. We want to make sure that technology works for the democracy, fighting back against the disinformation, standing up for the internet freedom, and reducing the misuse of surveillance technology. Sounds all like research and data to me. Research, data, AI, all that. That's what that sounds like to me. It sounds like a great project for someone who's working and looking for something for their PhD, looking to support something. Maybe there's too much reach in on children as far as the apps go and the gaming. Maybe you're doing research working at Apple and you're partnering with Apple and Amazon and what their reach in is, right? All those things are government contracts and research and get supported and get funding for years. Not just one or two, not three, maybe four, five, sometimes 10. So you never know what side of the fence you could be on. All right. Next one up, the Department of Veteran Affairs Cybersecurity legislation enacted, the VA, right? Strengthening the VA Cybersecurity Act of 2022 was enacted in 27 and is intended to boost the cybersecurity across the department and protect the veterans' data. It was proposed following a 2020 cyber attack in which 46,000 veterans was compromised after hackers breached the computer systems at the department. Right. So now they're looking for people to tighten up. Right. They're looking for people to come in and help them tighten up. So your pen testing, your vulnerability, your blue team, red team, blue team, red team. Are needed. Green, purple, all the teams are needed for that, right? All right, so now let's get back over here and let's look at this here. I think I mentioned this last week. Some engineers are being paid between 250,000 to 1 million. Did I mention this last week, D?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. All
I
right.
don't remember this one.
San Francisco is the highest salary city for tech pros if you can afford to live there. Based on 150,000 submissions, and the research showed entry-level engineers up to 2 years of experience can receive a salary of 274,000 in New York's Two Sigma. I did say this last week. And then 238,000 at Cruise for self-driving, 260 at Stripe. We see Databricks around here 443, and Cruise Online Gaming Roblox at 361 and 354. All right, I mentioned this last week. We saw this Airbnb at 796 and so forth. I'm just trying to get you to understand what's going on there. Let me see. Is this still that one where the IT recruiter sellers claim it snubbed American workers? It's a Jersey thing, and $26,000 can be filed under the business expenses. The DOJ did did a investigation on this. I'm looking to see. They had to pay 26 in penalties. I wonder if it's that person that came out that said that they don't hire if they see somebody that's black that's applying, they don't give them any help or anything. But they do give their own kind help. Uh, this one right here, this person got 7 years in prison for farming out immigrant developers to tech businesses and failing to pay over $1 million in taxes. Right. All right. So again, people will try to get over. All right, let's go down here. Senior cloud security architect with Azure. It's remote. It's paying 150 to 250,000. They're looking for a senior Azure infrastructure architect. I wanted to go down this architect role because I wanted you to understand what your options are, right? You can start out being DevSecOps, you can do SRE, and then you can move into architect, right? Azure projects and design and deploy cloud environments for hosting business application, designing and testing and implementation, help creating logging and monitoring with Sentinel, working closely with application network and security teams, and travel to clients' location as needed. They want you to have business skills and IQ. Must be pragmatic in nature, understanding of your skill set, and not afraid to ask for help. I think this is the best thing I've seen on a thing. Not afraid to ask for help. You don't know something, you don't know how to do it, ask for help. Ask for help. Consulting experience with large cloud migrations for cloud providers such as AWS, Azure, Google, IBM. Knowledge of infrastructure solutions, knowledge of operation management, system security, testing, then databases, mobility consideration. And then they got a slew of things that are requirements, but I'm quite sure you can get away with some of these, right? I don't see anything that's glaring that sticks out to me as an architect that I don't think you would not know as an architect. Yeah, nothing sticks out to me. All right, let's that one. This one, security architect, 225 to 275 with clear corporate. It's remote. They're out of New York. Design security reference architecture, design and develop security architectures on the different clouds, evaluate the adequacy of proposed security design and architecture, and prepare design documents, build templates, plan to assist with application migrations into different cloud deployment models, facilitate the deployment of orchestration and automation with the focus on security, right? I talk about this all the time. All the time. So for those that got the CISSP, that's preferred, and CSP are preferred, CCSP are preferred. Ability to develop and document methods, standards, and guidelines. Ability to assess existing security tools using CIS, CISC. Identify control gaps and periodically evaluating the effectiveness of security controls in production, right? So there's a broad range of skills that you would need, but again, the range is for a security architect 225 to 275. Next up, platform and hybrid cloud data center domain architect. They got the range from 118 to 245. This is with a government contractor here. Leidos is one of the larger ones, and you can see how they got what you'll get to do is this is what you'll get to do, and what you'll bring these qualifications, right? Some Cisco networking ability, to travel local and long distance, must be able to access SuperNet. So this is again the government contract because that's SuperNet. That's how SuperNet. That's a government contract. So this is a government contractor. You could probably squeeze a little more out of this. Probably could squeeze a little more,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit, just a touch, a little bit. All right.
Oh, and always ask how long the position has been open.
Well, how long and who is this newly created?
Or is it newly created?
No. All right. Twitter hacked. 200 million user email addresses leaked. You probably was one of them.
Been all type of hacks this year, and it's only 14 days in 2023, and it's been all type of hacker stuff going on.
Yeah. So, and another place is the place for the skill set, it just came to me, is Hacker Rank. And the reason why Hacker Rank came to me, because Hacker News is a website for security information that you can get, right? So if you click on it's a Hacker Rank, the Hacker News, here it is right here. You can come here and get information. So let's look here. Malware attack on CircleCI engineer's laptop leads to a recent security incident. He had malware on his laptop, and I actually got this up right here. Here's the security incident that came out. I got it right here. We're gonna talk about it, but we're here now. We're just gonna go through the headlines. Cacti servers under attack for majority fail. How to comply with cybersecurity insurance MFA. TikTok fined $5.4 million by the French regulator for violating cookie laws. Cisco issues warning for unupdated vulnerabilities and end of life routers, EOL, end of life. Be aware of tainted VPNs being used to spread iSpy surveillanceware. You do better by just going ahead and spin you up a VPN inside of your cloud provider and then connect there. You do better doing that. Cyber criminals using polyglot files and malware distribution to fly under the radar. Get unified cloud and endpoint security only $1. Blah 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 blah.
I think that one might be an ad.
Yeah, that might have been an ad. I don't know. It might be an ad. It might not be. ICE ID malware strikes again after directory domain compromised in 24 hours. And then here we got some more resources, and this is probably an ad down here. But if you come up here, you can see the jobs and so forth. So you can come here and click jobs. We're hiring for cybersecurity writers, reporters, and journalists. They go through and talk about it, but here, key responsibility: research, write, and edit articles on a wide range of cybersecurity topics. Source and verify information for a variety of sources, including experts, government agencies, and industry reports. And then they go into what your background should be and so forth, right? So they're looking for these. Right? That's what they're looking for. All right, let's see. We did that. Let's go here. Shopify employees are shocked and worried after an abrupt shutdown of public Slack channels and wiped data. Here's why they think Shopify did it. Let's go. Shopify decision to move employees off of Slack has disrupted some work this week. The decision was announced Tuesday as a part of the plan as Chaos Monkey 2023. The company also automatically canceled all meetings with more than 2 people. All right. Shopify's decision to cut down on employees' use of Slack has sowed chaos among some teams internally this week. Employees told Insider as part of a move it referred to internally as Chaos Monkey. So we know about Chaos Monkey and Gremlin, right? Or you could just throw a monkey wrench into a fine, well-oiled machine and can it recover and can we do something? Hey Tim, some tech jobs in Dubai that pay 500 to $1 million. Yeah, I know about them. Yep, I know about them. I would be concerned as a woman going to Dubai working in tech though. I don't know if if they would be okay with paying a woman that kind of money versus paying a man. I would just think there would maybe some issues there. And then the reason why I say there may be some issues because I actually had a offer to go overseas to different countries around that country, and they were like, "Nah, we ain't gonna send you." And it's like you can do it. They was like, "But no."
We need you.
They's like, "Nah, we ain't gonna send you." They's like, "Cause it'll be a problem, not because of me, just because the knowledge, right? And you're able to speak the language where they don't think you should be able to, right?" All right, as part of the move, it referred to internally Chaos Market Shopify leaders remove each employee from every existing public channel on the company Slack workspace, deleted the message history from those public channels, and capped each channel at 150 members. The idea, it said, was to turn Slack into a platform that will be used just for direct messages, with the rest of the company communications moving back to workplace by Meta. They're just gonna kick y'all off, huh? Let's kick you off. All right, so here we go. We know about first LastPass, now Slack, and CircleCI, the hacks that go on and on. First, LastPass got hacked. Y'all saw that. And we saw Slack get hacked and CircleCI. All right. All right. This one right here is probably should have went with the government contracting, but it's okay. Money flows for technology for technology, cybersecurity in the DoD budget. I talked about this in extensive last week about the number of government contracts that are coming out that came out of that bill, the amount of money that's going to come out as well too. This is actually a podcast. The transcript is below, but they're just going through and talking about the cybersecurity model, the CMMC, and the portion of the budget provides $6 million towards CMMC compliance for cybersecurity in manufacturing. Under the defense-wide procurement, another $20 million goes to increase the small business and academia compliance with CMMC. So there's work behind that. There's also contracts behind people who know CMMC and understand the process that can help other people. So that's actually a thing where you could possibly get work to do that, right? So that's just another one. All right, so now let's talk about CircleCI. Let's go look at this. CircleCI warns customers to rotate any and all secrets after the hack that came out the 5th. We know they got hacked. Now let's go look at what happened, right? All right, CircleCI incident report for January the 4th, 2023 security incident. That's a little small on the screen there. Keep going, making it bigger. All right. On January the 4th, we alerted customers of the security incident. If you are not familiar with what CircleCI is, CircleCI, you can look at it like GitLab and GitHub. It is a tool to assist with automation. It is not just a repository where you could just go dump everything in there, but It's supposed to be an all-in-one tool, kind of like GitLab is an all-in-one tool. GitLab boasts like you don't need Jira, you don't need any Atlassian products. You can get everything you need off of this platform, right? It's more they're turning these CircleCI, GitHub Actions, or GitHub, and even GitLab. They're all starting to be more platform centric. Like you sign up and you'll be on that platform and so forth, right? And you don't ever have to leave that platform. You can use the platform for repositories. You can use it for container registries and so forth, right? That's really what I've been seeing. All right, today we want to share what happened, what we learned, and what our plans are to continuously improve. We would like to thank our customers for your attention to rotating and revoking secrets and apologize for any disruption this incident may have caused to your work, right? This report will cover what happened, how do we know this attack vector is closed, and is it safe to build, communication and support for customers. How do I know if I was impacted? Details that may help our team with internal investigation. What we learned from this incident and what we would do next. A note to employee responsibility and system safeguards, security, best practices, and closing thoughts. This goes back into that whole thing about supply chain as well too. Like you're building code locally and then you're pushing it up, but then the code that you're pushing up could have a monster in it. It could have a monster in it, right? So what happened on the 29th of 2022? We were alerted to suspicious GitHub off activity by one of our customers. This notification kicked off a deeper review of CircleCI's security team with GitHub. On the 30th of 2022, we learned that the customer's GitHub off token had been compromised by an unauthorized third party. Although the customer was able to quickly resolve the issue, out of an abundance of caution, on December the 31st, we proactively initiated the process of rotating all the GitHub OAuth tokens on behalf of our customers, despite working with GitHub to increase its API rate limits, and the rotation process took time. While it was not clear as at this point whether the other customers were impacted, we continued to expand our scope. Now I'm gonna let you read this, D. I gotta get me some water. You want the notes?
I probably need the link because I can't scroll down.
I got you. Let me go get you some. I gotta get some water. I don't know.
How do you not have that on your desk? I want you to be more prepared. But you can
Well,
give me
I didn't have no water from the last one, so I gotta get some water.
Does everybody want to take a water break?
No. January the 4th is where you at. I'll be back.
Okay. Let's see. She give you the link. Why she not even be gone that long? Share my screen. Can everybody see that? Put a one in the chat if you can see that really clearly. Okay, so it says by January 4th, our internal investigation had determined the scope of the intrusion by the unauthorized third party and the entry path of the attack. To date, we have learned that an unauthorized third party leveraged malware deployed to a CircleCI's engineer's laptop in order to steal a valid 2FA back SSO session. A SSO session is a single sign-on session. This machine was compromised on December 16th of last year, and the malware was not detected by their antivirus software. Their investigation indicates that the malware was able to execute session cookie theft, enabling them to impersonate the targeted employee in a remote location and then escalate access to a subset of our production systems. Because the targeted employee had privileges to generate production access tokens as a part of the employee's regular duties, the unauthorized third party was able to access and exfiltrate the data from a subset of databases and stores, including customer environment variables, tokens, and keys. We have reason to believe that the unauthorized third party engaged in a reconnaissance activity on December 19th of last year, and when the exfiltration occurred, and that is their last record of unauthorized activity in their production systems. Though all the data exfiltrated was encrypted at rest, the third party extracted encryption keys from a running process, enabling them to potentially access the encrypted data. This is deep. We are confident in the findings of our internal investigation. We have engaged third-party cybersecurity specialists to assist in our investigation and to validate our findings. Our findings today are based on analysis of our authentication network and monitoring tools, as well as system logs and log analysis provided by our partners. So it looks like in response to the incident, they took a couple of actions. Poor employee. I know he is kicking himself in the butt. So it says they shut down. So what they did, and all of these actions seems like they just took place last week. They shut down the access for the employees. They shut down production access to nearly all the employees, limiting the access to extremely small group of operational issues. Looks they
Here's another view on this, right? If I don't think CircleCI is public, so think about how the investors are also looking at this as well too.
Oh, I can see, and literally, I just did a risk boot camp training the other day, and we continually have security training and how to mitigate risk, because at the end of the day, the users of the laptops, the employees, are the biggest security risk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, what did he click on to invite it in? Because I will click fish on some stuff in a minute. I don't know who sent this to me. I'm not on this list. I haven't been to this meeting. Click.
Yeah.
Click. Like,
again, right here, despite working with GitHub to increase its API rate limits, the rotation process took time. I'm reading up, but I'm just going through as a person that has to deal with cybersecurity every single day. There's so many moving parts with it. Like when you post up at these Starbucks and all these other places, and you're hopping on their network. Uh, what's going on there? You do better just hopping on your own hotspot, right? And then going from there. The other one is not even just necessarily hopping on the network. Who's shadow surfing you? Like, who can see your screen? Like, what does that look like? You may have some keystrokes that you do, or you get up and walk away from your computer just to run over there and get some coffee or a refill or something like that, and you got your screen up where everybody can see it or whatnot, right? So people are getting PII information, right? It behooves you to be on a constant awareness of where you're at, especially with your laptops and so forth.
yeah, you definitely have to be on a constant alert. I know for me, my company, we can't even take our laptop on vacation. Like, literally, it cannot leave the States. And if you go on vacation, there's a whole and you're working out of the country, there is a whole process for a out of the country laptop. for you to get.
I know Lisa know I'm still on.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just told
And then all you got to do is like, Lisa, if you out there, Lisa.
No, they went to my mom's house.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Hopefully my tablet doesn't start ringing. Hopefully my tablet. Yeah, but you definitely have to be cautious and continually read. Like sometimes things just become second nature, and as you get more comfortable at work in these systems and stuff, you just end up clicking on things. But you have to be very hyper aware of emails that come through, the domain name on those emails. Have you received an email from that? Like, I know our emails, we have tags. Just security, like security is an everyone issue, and it takes everyone to do their part.
Yeah, and they were on here. It says they restricted access to their production environments.
They in trouble over there.
Yeah, so that people wouldn't get because again, CircleCI, it's also a code repository. So if I could go in and go through and get some code of some projects and stuff like that, yeah.
And this is why it's also important to have security baked in from the gate, because you don't know who is surfing and what they're doing.
And it's a lot of information here. I will have to.
This is a huge article.
Yeah,
this is a Slack article.
This is a stream by itself. It's probably a 2-hour stream by itself.
Right. Yeah, and then it's another little section on employee responsibility versus system safeguards and best practices, and it's a really good one.
Let's do this one next week. That was
a really good article.
Yeah, that was long. But I had it because it's a review that we had at work.
Oh yeah,
this is a review we had at work. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen now on this one. U.S. claims major DDoS for hire takedown, but some seed sites still load. All right, it says the U.S. Let me blow that up a little bit. The U.S. officials say they have seized dozens of domains linked to some of the world's leading DDoS attacks for hire websites, but TechCrunch found that several of the seized sites are still online. In a press release on Wednesday, the U.S. Department of Service announced the takedown of 48 domains associated with some of the world's most popular DDoS booter platforms, according to the corresponding warrant. These services, often marked as sites for bandwidth stress testing networks, allow low-skilled individuals to carry out DDoS attacks designed to overwhelm websites and networks and force them offline. The takedowns were carried out as a part of the joint operation between the UK's National Crime Agency, the Dutch police, and Europol, known as the Operation Power Off. Right? The DOJ said these labor booter sites were involved in several attacks against a wide array of victims in the U.S. and abroad, including educational institutions, government agencies, and gaming platforms. Your notes that one of the site seized has been used to carry out more than 30 million attacks.
That's a lot.
That's all they do.
Like, that's a lot. Like, we're just gonna do this. Run it.
But they looking for the weakest link, and if we can take that site down and get what we can out of it, yeah, right.
Yeah, and Afri asked, he said, I think the most interesting aspect of these security breaches is that is the social engineering. How are people getting got? People do not pay attention. Period. People don't pay attention. People are going about their lives and their jobs, and they just be clicking on stuff. That's how they're getting got. They just clicking on stuff. And you have to be conscious of what type of communications that you are getting in your inbox or on your phone. Or if you're using your personal phone to make business calls, and like Tam said, the internet, like if they want to weigh in, they're gonna have a way in. But it's the person that is sitting at their desk showing up for work every day that is the breach.
Mhm.
That is the breach. Like I even have my place of employment send me a phone because I was making a lot of production calls on my cell phone, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm on the phone I can be on the phone for 2 hours trying to troubleshoot a situation. Not on my phone. Like not gonna do it.
All right. So the NSA says Chinese hackers are exploiting a zero-day bug in a popular networking gear. All right. The U.S. National Security Agency is warning that the Chinese government-backed hackers are exploiting a zero vulnerability in two widely used Citrix networking products to gain access to targeted networks. The flaw is tracked under the CVE 27518. If you're not familiar with CVE vulnerabilities, you can type in CVE and go over here to cve.mitre.org. And when you get here, you can see there are CVEs for different things. You can search this list and find out stuff. So if you click on search lists or even CVID, you can put that in. Like I can literally type in this CVID right here. Let's grab that. Even though there's a link to it there. We're just gonna pretend we don't have the link. And then we're gonna come over here and then we're gonna type that in and then submit. Oh, you didn't. Here we go, right here. Unauthenticated remote arbitrary code execution. And then this is what it looks like, right? So here it gives you the CVE, the description, the references, the articles that are supporting that, a disclaimer, what it is. Usually, they'll have like an update for that CVE that they'll let you know whether it's updated or not. Right. So that's what using the CVE database is. So let me go back to home. Let me make this big. All right, and so then you can come over here. You can find out the latest news. You can find out different CVEs for different, I guess, different operating systems, different actual. I don't want to say projects, but hardware. We'll go here to downloads. All right, so you can get the latest in a CSV file if you want to download what are the latest CVEs and so forth, right? So you can get that, right? All right, so you can come over here and let's do CVEs for Microsoft. All right, so Microsoft has their security vulnerability website that you can go look at, but you can also again come over here to CVE Monitor, and then you'll see the CVEs for Microsoft Exchange or anything Microsoft related. You can see a slew of their CVEs. You can come back here and you can do CVEs for Ubuntu. And Ubuntu has their own site as well. Not CVE market. I meant to type CVEs. So you can see here, Ubuntu has their own, but you can keep scrolling down. MITRE should pop up with a list of CVEs for the latest and greatest. So if you don't know the vendor, you could type in the vendor CVEs and it'll come up with specifically for that vendor. But if you just want overall all the CVEs and stuff, right? You can come here and come here and get that information here, right? What you say, Afri? You say this is tit for tat. The U.S. did the same thing 20 years ago when China was buying Cisco gear. Yeah. So again, security is not going anywhere. Data centers isn't going anywhere. Infrastructure isn't going anywhere. So it behooves you to, if that's what you're feel like you want to be, that's an easy knowledge place to be in, and keep it pushing for CVEs. And last but not least, I didn't bring this up on the last show. We'll take it from here on this show. Early retiree shares 13 stupid simple money rules that help him save $1 million. Right. And that came out in July 23rd, 2022. I ignored the follow your passion advice. I learned from millionaires. I cut losers out of my life. I exploited my 9 to 5. And I'll come back to some ones that we may want to talk about.
Is this petty tea time?
No petty tea.
I was like, that's awfully quick.
I switched companies 5 times in 14 years.
That's not bad.
I automated everything. I ignored the haters. I ignored the Joneses. I prioritized open communication. I prioritized my health. I avoided credit card debt. I always said yes. I stopped going to the bar. I think these are pretty simple.
Now, I missed what was the title of this article?
The title of this article is Early Retiree Shares 13 Stupid Simple Money Rules that Helped Him Save $1 million.
Oh, I might need to listen.
So the reason why I brought this up is because we've been talking about security and making your money in tech and so forth and so on, but I'm also tying in the government contracting. And I want you all to be millionaires. I don't want you to retire out of tech and you only got 500,000. I don't want you to retire out of tech and you've only made 7 million. You've made 7 million and you retire and you go to retire, but you only got $1 million saved, right? It says what I do find interesting about these 0 days is that the U.S. government hoards and selectively lets unknown no hour for cocktails and no beer. No hour for cocktails and beer. So
I mean, but you can cocktail and beer at home though. I think I think at home is the best out after hour with friends. I think my house used to be
cool.
the happy hour spot.
It's cool if you got someone to drink with, like, but drinking.
That's what I'm saying, with friends. With friends.
But when you start, here's a rule of thumb. And when you go to fill out your clearance or whatnot, and they ask you, do you have a wine every week? And you say yes, they'll consider that a drinking problem. So
wine every week?
Yeah. It's a habit.
Oh. Yeah, and what if you drink one every day?
It's a habit.
After work. I know people who do that. I'm having this one glass of wine.
You could be considered an alcoholic. You could be considered an alcoholic. I hear what you're saying. I'm just trying to tell you.
Government.
No, it ain't about government. I understand where they come from. It's a slow drift. One glass turn into a 2. 2 turn into like, let me change that glass to this. I want to do something new.
I mean, for me, everything in moderation, but I can see how they could consider everything a gateway.
That's all I'm saying.
That's a gateway.
I learned from millionaires. Throughout my career, I worked with many wealthy people. Instead of being jealous of them, I took notes. I never forget Brian, who I worked with after college. He was a few years older than I was and drove a 6-year-old Honda Accord. Even though he was a millionaire, he had a cheap Casio watch and didn't wear designer clothes. All right. I cut losers out of my life. I think you know what that means. I don't need to do that. Nobody has one glass of wine like no one has one Pringle chip.
It depends on how big that glass is and how good that wine is. But you can have one glass of wine. I'm
gonna tell you this now. You will fail.
I don't can drink wine like I used to, but I will not fail. A good glass, one by on me, it'll have me
No,
buzzing.
I'm saying if you was doing the exam, you'll be like, "What you mean? What you mean?" When I go overseas and I meet somebody and we had a conversation, I gotta tell you about
Due
that.
to the nature of my job, when it comes to that type of stuff, I know how to. I am the next child. I know how to answer questions. And you know how I can get. I'll be like, no, I have never seen that before ever. No, no.
Robert Anderson and call it cat. You call it cat, Robert.
You can. You can. I mean, a glass of red. I haven't had red wine. Used to be my favorite. The little Pinot Noir. One glass of Pinot Noir, it had me tilted to the side already.
So he said, I invested in my employer's 401k and got the company 4% match, which was free money that an employer contributed to. Some companies have a HSA, so you can I think it's 38.50 this year for single and 70 something, 7,000 something for married couples for your HSA. However, he's saying like the beauty of the HSA, it acts like a 401k later in life. After you turn 65, the unused money can be withdrawn for any purposes, and there are no RMDs, required minimum distributions on that HSA. So it's a good thing to invest in. Your full-time job may also offer educational and training opportunities to help boost your marketable skills like computer programming, accounting, time management. These skills can be used to get promotions and raises throughout your career. I switched companies 5 times. Every time you switch, you should be taking no less than 25,000. So 5 times, 30 times 5, that's 80,000. So if we started at 120 and got to 200 on 5 switches, he might be right. He might could have did it in 2 switches, right? Taking a new job is often the easiest way to get a raise because negotiating a high salary is a natural part of the process. I'm going to read again. Taking a new job is often the easiest way to get a raise because negotiating a higher salary is the natural part of the process. That is a natural part of the process. I got a 15 to 20% raise each time I switch companies. This is far beyond the 3% cost of living many employers offer to the staff. And that's what I've been saying. You lose $10,000, it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to get that back unless you job hop. So just be careful not to switch companies too often. Try to stay in each role at least a year because some employers will not hire candidates who change jobs frequently. The hiring and onboarding process is expensive. I automated everything. So we talking about automated bill pay, automated payroll, pay into his 401k and Roth. Ignore the haters, ignore the Joneses, prioritize open communication. Too often, spouses have different ideas regarding spending habits, goals, and dreams. If left unchecked, these differences may cause arguments and other problems in the relationship that keep you from achieving your financial goal. Healthy relationships depend on open communication with your partner so you can align on goals and what makes you happy. Right? I prioritize my health. He says, I'm 41 years old today and continue to weight train. This year, my wife and I spent $10,000 building a dedicated home gym on our 7-acre property. It was the best money we ever spent. So he live on 7 acres. Avoided credit card debt and always said yes. Even if I don't know how to do the job being offered to me, I will always accept the challenge and figure it out as I went. I remember one Friday at the office, I was called into a meeting with the CEO of the company I was working for. I was nervous going in, but it turned out to be the best career opportunity that I ever gotten. The organization fired an entire management team above me, and they wanted me to be the director of technology information. As a low-level software developer, that giant leap seemed daunting. I had asked I had never worked as a manager before and felt entirely unprepared for such a huge promotion. My mind told me to say thanks, but no thanks. But I accepted anyway. I asked many questions, found mentors, gained experience. I needed to level up my entire career, and they stopped going to the bar. All right. I got 6 minutes to spare, D. I did it. We finished.
Where are you sparing these minutes from? Where do you get these minutes from?
I finished.
Where do you get these minutes from?
I finished. I finished. I appreciate everybody coming out. I hope that you enjoy this topic. I hope you negotiate your salary. I hope you know what to negotiate.
No, you better be negotiating your salaries. Not I hope. You better be.
Well, I can only hope you can.
You better be negotiating salaries. Interviewing, updating resumes.
And how many people are interviewing right now? How many are interviewing right now? How many people are interviewing? It's the top of the year. This is the best time.
It sure is. People are
Everybody got money. Everybody got money.
Everybody got some budgets.
Everybody got
and
money.
I was like, use your existing resume while you tighten up your new one. Just keep it pushing.
Everybody got money. So y'all should be doing getting it together. But you know what? I lied and said we were gonna end. But I did.
Did you what? You what?
I lied. I
Did
did.
you tell them stories? You know, lying is a bad word at my mama's house.
That's at your mama's house, but at my house.
You know, I mean, you know, that's not a nice. It's not a nice word.
Okay.
My tea is cold.
Okay. Let me look this up real here. What was it called?
I am hungry. Right when we wrapping up, it seems like I just get famished.
Oh yeah, that's what I want. All right, let's skip. Let me see. I mean, I need to move this over. I don't want the whole.
Oh, Shay, you own it. You own the good one. You own a good one.
Look, didn't Evo say it? Lies, using words as alibis. The whole song.
The whole song.
A whole song.
What's for dinner?
I don't know. Hold on. You tell me.
I don't know. For some reason, I haven't had any meat, and I have a taste for shortbreads for some reason.
All right, so here we go. I pulled up. I sent it to you. The Deion Sanders Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, it's 25 minutes long.
I watched the whole thing.
Oh, you went back and found the original?
I watched the whole thing.
You didn't answer my question.
I watched whatever video you sent me.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't the whole thing. That was a small.
Well, I'm pretty sure there were more Hall of Famers. They got inducted.
No,
at that time.
No,
or it was just his.
No, what I'm saying is the speech was 25 minutes long. You got a snippet of it.
Oh, when he talked about his mom?
Yeah, but it was more to that speech. It was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you.
I mean, I got it when you said it.
All right.
Thank you.
Even though that don't look like him.
I don't know who that man on the bus is.
Jesus, I love you. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here today. So, Lord, I thank you. So if you could bear with me, I'm going to run through a lot of thank yous because unfortunately, or fortunately, I played for 5 teams. It's not like I wanted to leave one, but I had to. So I got a lot of thank yous. Coach C, Coach David, Helen Capel, Coach
All right, so these kids right here that's sitting in the back, these are the ones that he was talking about, and you've probably seen the story about it, that he bust in from his camp to so that they can experience him getting his recognition and so forth and so on, right? So that's where that's at. But I'm trying to get to a particular part.
in that cafeteria. I promise you I wasn't. I don't know what that lady was talking about. Coach Bobby Bowden,
That's
it was my defensive back that you had that response. So I want to thank you. And I love you, Jay Field.
He got drafted by the Falcons, I think, in '85.
That's where he wanted to go. That was his preference.
He wanted to come to the Falcons.
That was his preference.
I got you. All right, so let me see. I hope it starts right here.
They call it offsides, and
no,
so much because I thought about it as a child. I wanted to do it, and they told me that we would get compensated and paid for a game.
Oh yeah, here it is right here.
Right. Deion Jr., Shiloh, Shador, Shalimar, with all my team's jerseys on. I love you. Thank you, babies. This game.
Look how young they were. Look how young they look.
Now they doing the booty.
You're so mean and nasty. Who would say that?
I mean, the one of the sons was out at him holding up for college.
Why you just gonna say? And now they're in college.
That's what happened. They grow up and they start doing the booty.
Say they was in college. We gotta remove you. That was a nasty word.
Doing the booty?
Yes.
Doing the booty is not a bad word. It is just simple.
Gosh. You talking about nobody with filter? You have no filter. That's horrible. They're in college now. Gosh.
You know, that's why I'm on to you, because I talk to the kids. The kids need to talk.
You could have said they was in college. For a reason. Because a lot of you don't even see yourself in tech. A lot of you don't even see yourself.
Our screen was suspended for a policy violation.
Oh, okay. Is that what that was?
Did something pop up for you?
I heard a thing that it stopped. I saw a click. Maybe because it was the NFL. But whatever. I don't know when it stopped. I'm assuming we're still live.
Yeah, we're still live. I guess we have to wait for it to clear up.
No, I gotta stop sharing the screen, probably.
You gotta take it off the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't say fair use. It's all good. We'll clip the ending out. No big deal.
I mean, or we can just put it in the description. Or
yeah, I can clip the last part.
Hold on, let me see.
It says we're still live. I mean,
and we are live. It was just suspended. I'm refreshing it.
Okay.
I'm refreshing my YouTube.
Yeah, let me go back in. I took it down. It should be back. Policy violations. Yeah, I unshared it, so I don't know. It should be fine. Let me see. Yeah, it's not showing up on the thing.
Oh, we're back.
Oh, there. All right. Whatever, YouTube. But anyway,
fair use in there.
But anyway, why I showed that was
so funny. I feel so dangerous now. Like Rebel.
So why I showed that was because I get a lot of questions, and I get a lot of questions, and I hear a lot of questions on other people's streams, other tech streams, or I follow people on Instagram, and you always, you all always ask, are you good enough to be in tech, or or is it okay that for you to transition into tech? And just like he said, you're gonna get a lot of haters. But you know who the biggest hater to your success is? You yourself. You are your biggest hater to your own success. And when you sit back and look at it and you ask yourself, why am I blocking myself from such greatness? Why am I blocking myself from being great? You got to ask yourself, why? Why do you want to block yourself? Here it is, you got this unique opportunity. You got this unique ability. And people think I be lying, but you do the math. If you earn $100,000 for the next 10 years, that's $1 million. But I don't think you're gonna stay at $100,000 for 10 years. I don't see that. I think most people are gonna go from 100 to 150, 125, 150, 150 to 200, right? And then from 200 to 220, 240, whatever the case may be. Some of you are gonna start at 200. Some are gonna, and I'm talking base. I'm not talking total comp, I'm talking base. So the question becomes is, why don't you want to be a millionaire? Why don't you want to be a multimillionaire? Why don't you want to get that contract? Why don't you want to retire yourself, your mama, your friends, whatever the case may be? Why don't you want to own the 7 acres with a plane, with a landing strip in the back? Why don't you want to max out your 401k? Why don't you want to be able to travel and do an international tour? Why don't you want that? Why don't you want that for yourself? Right? So, if anything you leave with here today is ask yourself, what are you going to do to change that landscape? How are you going to do that? What are you going to put in place? Because I don't want to see you on the clip. I don't want to see you on the clip driving around 72 in a Volvo XC, pulling up to the cemetery to wash your face. I don't want you popping a squat at the automated McDonald's, which may not even have bathrooms anymore because there's a robot working in there. We don't need that. Thank you, casual economists. I did that beat. I made that beat, and now they trying to say that we didn't. So again, like I said, get yourself together. Stop allowing all the negative thoughts in your head, the naysayers, the so forth. Do what you got to do to get yourself together. If you don't retire your mom, that's fine. If you do, that's fine. If you retire your dad, that's fine. If you help your sister, that's fine. But you need the resources, you need the money, right? If our net worth's supposed to be zero by 2053, I don't know what you're waiting for. Like I said before, and I said again, and Dion hates it when I say it. If you got roaches, they need an Instagram. Everything in your house should be working. Should be getting sponsorships, whatever the case may be. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And on that note, we're out of here.
Are we?
Yep, I'm done. See y'all later.
Have a good one.